Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to be running through a hero RB strategy from a full PPR mock draft from the 4th overall selection in a 12-team league. Just like all the other videos I have on my channel, I'm going to walk you through every single pick, explain my thought process, and show you how to build a team that can win you your fantasy league this year from the 104. If you have one of these early first-round selections this year, and then this video is for you, and make sure your league mates do not watch this video so they don't know our little secret. With that being said, let's go ahead and start this mock draft from the 104. So the strategy is very simple, especially at the 104. Jamar Chase is going to be off the board, so you're getting the option between Saquon, Bijan, and Gibbs. My expectation was that Saquon and Bijan would be off the board. Since this is a full PPR, however, I'm going to take the upside in Bijan Robinson. So now that we have our hero RB, obviously we are going to be looking at other positions. Allen is a good selection in these back ends of the draft. However, at the 209, it's going to be a little bit too early for my liking. We can solidify one of our receivers in like a JSN or a Lad McConkey, but since I feel like some of these guys are going to fall in that third round for me, I'm going to take the positional value at tight end and take our Trey McBride here due to the fact that it is a full PPR. I mean, this dude is a stud. He's getting like 10 targets a game. Kyler loves to feed him. And again, I'll just hope that some of these guys fall back to me in the third round. So we do see our JSNs go, our Josh Allen's go. So since Lamar did fall to me at the 304, it's something that I'm really interested in depending on how the other positions look. Don't need to look at our tight end or running back position since we already have our two studs. Comes down to either like a Tyreek Hill or T. Higgins. I feel like after that there's like a drop off from a Garrett Wilson, Marv, Mike Evans, and then these other guys I'll be able to get in the 4th, 5th round. So in my opinion, there's really two options here, is going with Tyreek Hill or Lamar. It hurts me and pains me to pass up on Lamar, but hear me out. I'm going to be getting my wide receiver 1 in Tyreek Hill here at the 304, and we still have other skill positions that would still need to be filled out, obviously. So if I take Lamar here, that means at the 4th and 5th round, I would have to take at least one receiver just so I can get my wide receiver 1. I'm not too comfortable in having like a DJ Moore, maybe if DK falls, or like a Cortland Sutton here in the 4th as my wide receiver 1. And then since that running back drop off is really significant, I would be banking on one of those 6th or 7th round running backs as my running back 2, which could be like a Travion Henderson or like a Pacheco. Isn't terrible. However, I just want to play it safe and lock in my wide receiver 1 in Tyreek Hill. Yes, there is a lot of concerns about him, his health, his quarterback play, his age, but as my wide receiver 1, especially with my first 2 selections, I think it's a pretty safe pick rather than depending on one of these guys lower down the board as my wide receiver 1. So I'm going to be taking Tyreek Hill. So again, looking at the board, team 5 has no receivers. It looks like they're going a RB heavy draft, and then the team next to me also has 2 receivers, a running back, so they're probably going to look for best player available, probably an extra running back here in the 4th, 5th round. Now, running back position here, I'm hoping one of these top 4 guys fall to me. I'm perfectly fine with getting a Chuba or Demont. Since the top 5 quarterbacks have already gone, I'm not even going to look into a quarterback until later in the draft anymore. Probably stack Kyler with McBride later on. Not a bad selection for a Kenneth Walker or James Conner here in the 409. I just think that's a little bit too early. Maybe if I had like the 101 or 102 on the turn, I'd feel comfortable here. But since this is a full PPR, I'm going to lean towards a wide receiver. Rashee Rice going in the 4th is kind of crazy. No chance Mike Evans would really fall to me. So I don't think any of these 4 guys are going to make it back to me in DK, DJ Moore, Sutton, or Devontae Smith. So I'm going to select my favorite out of these 4 positions. This is full PPR, so the top 2 players I'm going to be looking at is going to be Cortland Sutton and DK Metcalf. It's way too early for Devontae Smith. DJ Moore is like hit or miss. I feel like the most consistent player when healthy with an accurate Aaron Rodgers is going to be DK Metcalf. Did burn me last year, but had nothing going for him last year in Seattle. Also was injured a lot of the year. Give me DK Metcalf with no competition to that target room. So back to our 5th round selection. Just taking a peek at quarterback, nothing has really changed. Holmes is right here at his ADP Gesicki. I could try to get a Bo Nix Baker later on in the draft. Nothing too special, again, since the top 5 quarterbacks are off the board. We do get one of the 4 running backs falling back to us in David Montgomery here in the 5th. And we did get Cortland Sutton to fall, which is something I didn't see happening. So the pick here is going to be between a Cortland Sutton and David Montgomery. Would love to fill out that RB2, but since we do have Bijan Robinson as our hero RB and the format being PPR, as a Lions fan, I hate to pass up the opportunity and the touchdown upside of David Montgomery, but give me Cortland Sutton here in the flex. This guy with Bo Nix is an absolute target machine as well. Was wide receiver 10 last year. We're taking him here as RB24, so we just need him to finish as a top 24 wide receiver and we're going to get our values worth. So now that we have our 3 wide receivers locked in, which I think all have potential to be a top 12 receivers, we just have to hope that there's some running back value to fall back to us in this 6th round. Now in this 6th, running back position is getting very, very slim. In my opinion, with this being a full PPR, DeAndre Swift has been, a top 20 PPR back his whole career. I really like Tony Pollard this year with Cam Ward stepping in to make this offense a lot better. And then there is the rookie Caleb Johnson out of Iowa to fill in for that Najee Harris RB1 role. However, I'm not sure the backfield split of him and Jalen Warren, and especially with it being PPR, I'm not going to be banking on him to catch any passes this year. After that, it drops off heavy. I'm going to be taking my RB depth here just because none of it is going to fall back to me here in the 7th. Quinshon Judkins ADP shot up just because of the incident that he was in and there not being any sort of charge against him. A lot of people are high on him. Looking at DeAndre Swift last year, had 42 catches for 52 targets. No touchdowns, but about 400 receiving yards. Tony Pollard last year, who had 41 catches on 57 targets, but only 238 yards. He does have some competition with Tajay Spears, who does have a high ankle sprain now. I'm just going to take the better offense in what I think has the most potential in that Chicago Bears offense with Ben Johnson. Give me DeAndre Swift. The main thing about DeAndre Swift is he going to be getting the goal line touches rather than Quinshon Johnson or their 6th or 7th round pick? Let's hope this team can get into the red zone so they have that opportunity to score. And DeAndre Swift is that goal line back so he can get us some more touchdowns. Last year, only rushing for 6. Let's hope this year he can up those numbers with a lot better offense. Quickly, a run of quarterbacks went with Baker and Bo Nix. Would have liked the Bo Nix here in the 7th, maybe the 8th if he fell, to stack him with Cortland Sutton. That did not happen. I do have my selection in Kyler to still stack him with Trey McBride, but looking at his ADP over here at 95 and us being only at the 74th pick is going to be a reach. There is a lot of sleepers in that wide receiver position down here. Jacoby Myers, Fon Diggs, Matthew Golden. I can get later in the rounds. I'm going to stack up on running back here as well in my 7th round pick. So 1, I don't really have to worry about it later on in the draft. And 2, there is a drop off, I think, after Caleb Johnson. None of these guys are really going to be touching my drafts ever. Maybe for some handcuffs. I know Caleb Johnson isn't going to get the most amount of receptions for this PPR draft, but taking him here in the 7th round, hoping he can at least rush for 1,000 yards and get a couple touchdowns, should be the goal line back just due to his size. We all know how much the Steelers love to run the ball. And again, a lot of this wide receiver depth will fall to me in this 8th, 9th turn. So I'm going to be selecting Caleb Johnson here as our 7th round selection. So the fall of Kyler Murray would have been great. However, he did get sniped by us 2 positions before. Quarterback, I'm still not stressed about because I can just get a Brock Purdy in the 9th round. There's 10 quarterbacks off the board. Only me and team 12 don't have a quarterback. So at this point, there's no need to reach for one. Running back, I am all set on. I'm gone on any single one of these players. We have our stud in Trey McBride. So again, tight end is nothing we need to look at. So now it's really about depth and who we think has the most potential. A guy who's shooting up in ADP right now is Ricky Pearsall. He's getting a lot of love from camp due to the fact that Jawan Jennings has his calf and contract issues. Brandon Ayuk obviously coming off of his injury and he's not going to come back 100% healthy. It's going to take him a couple weeks to ramp back up. Matthew Golden, the 1st round selection for the Green Bay Packers, is also a very high ADP guy. He's pretty much their only healthy receiver, so I think he is also a great selection. However, I'm going to be picking Ricky Pearsall in hopes I can pair him with a Brock Purdy later on. Again, this is my wide receiver 4, so I'm just banking on upside at this point. Matthew Golden, unfortunately, also got sniped right before me. Was the other guy we were hoping for. Again, quarterback, whatever. All these other teams need their depth. Zach Charbonnet probably would be the pick here if I did take a Kenneth Walker here in the 4th or 5th round. Again, PPR, I have my top 3 running backs. no need to look at anyone else further. So looking at upside, who has the best potential to be a top 24, top 36 receiver here in this 9th round? And my bet, again, is going to be another rookie in Emeka Egbuka from Tampa. First round selection. Chris Godwin coming off an injury. Hopefully he gets a lot of the target share right behind Mike Evans. Teams are starting to go with 2 quarterbacks for some reason. May double up on quarterback here just because I have great depth. In the 10th round, give me our guy Caleb Williams. Let's hope he can throw for 4,000 yards this season and take a step up with Ben Johnson. Not much else needed to say. QB 16 last year, so let's just hope he can be top 12 this year and we'll be all set. Looking to help our running back depth, no one that's really sticking out to me. Main guys would be Jaden Blue in hopes he can somehow take over RB1 for the Dallas Cowboys. Tank Bigsby might be able to take that RB1 role over ETN as well as their rookie Bashal Tutin. A lot of these other guys are just going to be handcuffs and Trey Benson or Isaac Guerrero. In other drafts where you have a little bit more bench spots, later on in the draft, I would take a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence just so I can get an extra quarterback depth because my QB1 isn't the strongest. Since I only have 4 bench spots, I'm just going to look for that RB depth right here. Give me the rookie and the upside of Jaden Blue and his speed to take over that backfield. So that is our hero RB strategy at the 4th pick position in a 12-team full PPR mock draft. We ended up with Caleb Williams as our QB1, Bijan Robinson as our RB1, DeAndre Swift as our RB2. We got Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf as our wide receiver 1 and 2s, Trey McBride as our tight end 1, and in our flex, it's going to be Cortland Sutton. A couple of depth and upside pieces as our running back 3 and Caleb Johnson, Ricky Pearsall as our receivers, and Emeka Egbuka. Banking on these guys to have a high target share. Bench spots are just upside. So let me know what you guys think. If you did have any comments or concerns, go ahead, leave them down below in the comments. If you would make any changes or would draft somebody differently here in our draft, go ahead, let me know what you would have done in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.